Hi everybody, I'm Antoine Pelche. I'm the audio director for UFC Undisputed 3, and we're going to discuss some of the finer details of what we've done to improve the audio experience on this year's iteration of the game. With the addition of Pride to UFC Undisputed 3, the audio experience needed to be entirely created from scratch. It's essentially an entirely new audio game. We wanted to make sure that we dialed in that experience perfectly, and for that we needed to, employ the services of some high-profile announcers. So for sure, we went out. Everybody said, we got to have Boss Rutten.
El Guapo Boss Rutten and Steven Quadros here at Pride Fighting Championships.
We supplemented him, of course, with Steven Quadros.
Quadrito the Fight Professor.
Me personally, I find that was the best team of announcers during the Pride Golden era. So they were both amazing to work with and delivered the goods beyond anything that I could have wanted. And of course, we also got Lenny Hart.
Middleweight main event.
Fans of Pride know who Lenny Hart is. She's the woman with the incredible, almost shrilly voice that announces fighters in a very unique fashion as they come out to the ring.
Quinton, the Rampage Jackson.
Anyone who's familiar with Pride fights know that the Japanese crowd is very unique, and the events are held in huge arenas. Ours is in the Saitama Super Arena, which is going to sound very different than pretty much the custom 15,000 plus crowd that you see on a UFC pay-per-view. Japanese crowd react and observe MMA fights very, very differently than from a Western crowd. We made sure that the logic and the assets, the data that's triggered for the crowds there is very specific to that venue, and that there's a much larger dynamic range, that they're all essentially very, very quiet until something notable happens, and they definitely erupt. We also made a real emphasis on recreating the sound of the mat itself that the fighters are fighting on. It sounds very different from a cage, very different from the UFC mat, almost wooden. We made sure that stood out and really resonated within this large, booming venue. The Pride experience is entirely new, and I think that anybody listening to it and comparing it directly to the UFC one will notice this improvement and appreciate it. I'd like to thank you for checking out this interview. I hope it provided some insight and clarity into the improvements that we've been trying to make. There's a lot more than what we've discussed here, but these are the big ones. Hope you enjoy the game and enjoy the audio experience.